Adventures of Sonic Episode 15, Two Tall Tales. Gee, I wonder what will happen in this episode. Robotnik talks to someone with an annoying voice who is forced to build a machine the way Robotnik wanted. So why didn't Robotnik make the machine then? After Grounder falls apart for some reason, Robotnik uses Professor Vaughn as a guinea pig to test his giant-defying ray. It doesn't work, and the professor says he'll only tell him how to make it work if he tortures him. He has a smirk and a helpful voice when he says that, almost like he wanted to be tortured. Because little kids show, Robotnik of all people stops at torturing with tickling, and some green apples fall on him. Predictably, the accented guy tells him what to do to fix it, and Scratch fixes it. Robotnik says to take Professor Vaughn to the deepest part of the jungle where he'll never be found, rather than just killing him, because I guess that's more sadistic. He says that with this plan, he'll be the undisputed master of Mobius. I thought he already was. I guess he means he'll beat Sonic, who's the only one disputing him. What kind of Robotnik isn't the undisputed master of Mobius? Sonic spin dashes underground and goes near some water, and he gets a geyser of water to appear that way, and he also creates stone walls somehow, stopping coconuts. He and Tails find Wienerville, which is inhabited by talking Wiener Mobians, and it's the place with the best chili dogs. Normally, on Mobius, the people are animal people, not talking wieners. Wouldn't it be cannibalism for them to be serving wieners? Sonic calls Tails his little chump, saying he has to excuse him. That's oddly Fleetway Sonic of them, but unlike in Fleetway Sonic, he's not called out on it in any way, and no one even looks surprised at him. Sonic also mentions that he and Tails missed a lot of meals the past few days. That's impressively dark. I guess that makes sense since they're homeless, but no it doesn't because they're world-famous heroes. They should have no problem with civilians feeding them. I didn't see them give anyone money for all those chili dogs. Did they get them for free? Meanwhile, the giant machine starts sparking and moving around, and it explodes, covering the villains in soot, and then a tree falls on them. I'm guessing this won't kill them or put them out of commission for a while, because that would make actual sense. Tails is told to go to an ice cream emporium with tons of ice cream flavors. Since he wanders off on his own, something bad's gonna happen to him. Then he gets grown to a giant size because I guess the giant-defying ray created smoke from a distance that was sent to him. This concept was done better in Fleetway, I can already tell, because here, Tails' head is way too small for his own good. He's got horribly stilted acting that ruins the whole scene with him. And, well, at least everyone's reacting realistically to Tails running and screaming when he causes property damage. And him causing this damage is explained as him being so hungry that he can't help but eat. It makes sense that since he's bigger, he'll require more food to stay alive. Sonic is shown as flawed for once because he doesn't know what to do.
I'll think of something. I hope. Can I get back to you on that?
Someone calls Tails a vicious monster, though at least the girl has faith in Tails. Robotnik tries to frame Tails and Sonic as evil because of this. And I bet the idiotic civilians will, oh good, the girl stands up to Robotnik and doesn't believe him. Robotnik lies that he's turning over a new leaf and brings the civilians tons of gifts. Logically, no one would dare touch these gifts because they could be bombs for all they know. Sonic says they won't fall for that way too late. Robotnik frustrates me by successfully turning the villagers against Tails, or at least making them murmur. I really wish Tails' acting didn't suck. I feel like it actually got worse as the show went on. It's hard to stay invested in the episode without acting. It's famous to see Tails as a villain for once, and since it's Tails, he's just an accidental villain. The girl who used to stand up for Sonic reveals it was too good to be true because she now thinks Robotnik's a good guy and she made a mistake by trusting Sonic. Which technically she did, but no one had any reason to know this would all happen. Robotnik thinks he can turn the robots into wood ornaments, even though they're metallic. Sonic overhears them talking about the professor being hidden away in the jungle, and Sonic fools them with a disguise that he shouldn't have, throwing barbells on them he shouldn't have at all. Out of nowhere, he even gets a curtain and stuff for a Mr. Macho Mobius contest. This is such filler! At least it's more entertaining filler than in Sad AM, where they had Antoine being annoying and Sally immaturely bickering with Sonic, but it's still crap. It's taking everything in me to not skip ahead past this worthless bull. Grounder and Scratch aren't able to answer questions until Sonic asks them where Professor Bond is hidden. He finds the professor, who's trapped in a deep hole. Why does every original character in the show have to have a horrible voice? The production values are so low. I honestly couldn't understand most of what he was saying, and that's a problem. Sonic uses a construction crane he had out of nowhere to rescue the guy. At least reality ensues because his pants get ripped when he's saved by the crane, but it would be more realistic if Sonic didn't know how to drive the crane at all. The professor tells him the cure for the giantification and the directions to get there. He has to go to a dangerous garden full of traps to get there. Of course, he avoids them with his speed, and just as I was wondering where Tails was, I see him being confronted by the civilians. Robotnik says his Insta-Freeze cannon will turn Tails into a popsicle, and then the professor offers to build something to get the antidote into Tails' mouth. He already has the plans right here. That's convenient. Sonic says he can build the invention based on the plans in 15 seconds. Sonic's an engineer now? He went through engineering school? Just looking at blueprints won't do anything for him. He has no knowledge of how to build in the first place. Tails eats the antidote and Robotnik gets frozen with stupid noises. Sonic hugs Tails and the civilians realize Sonic's good because Professor Bond had explained everything. At least the civilian apologizes for the awful things she said.
I just feel awful for those terrible things I said. How can we ever make it up to you?
In the Sonic Says section, Sonic's completely out of character by turning down ice cream in favor of eating healthy food, teaching us the main food groups. I get him being responsible because he's a parent to Tails, but that doesn't mean he wouldn't eat ice cream. And Tails has an ice cream stomachache or something, showing consequences to eating it. This was an episode about Tails being made giant by the smoke of a ray specifically designed by Robotnik to grow something giant, which makes more sense than him being grown because of a tree growth liquid. The civilians all panic and run away from him after he causes property damage, which makes sense, but I still don't like seeing them turn on him and Sonic and actually side with Robotnik. That's just dumb. As is Tails' horribly stilted acting, which always takes me out of it. How did this make it past the... Was there any quality control at all? They should have gotten a new one then. Where's the Sad AM voice actor? At least Tails causing so much damage was explained as him already being hungry, because that was too much trouble for just an accident. I preferred this concept when it was done in Fleetway though. No one turned on the heroes and there was no horrible acting, and ended up actually being pretty sweet, seeing Tails as a gentle giant. Big surprise, the comic did some story better than the show did. Ultimately though, since Tails did nothing but cause trouble, and barely does anything useful, he's just the non-cowardly Antoine of the show, and this only proves my point, because this plot wouldn't exist if he wasn't around. At least Tails is likable though, unlike Antoine, so I don't feel like Sonic's making a mistake whenever he rescues him. It was smart of the show to have a professor be the one who built the giant rain because there's no rotor, so only he could have made an antidote for Tails. Robotnik wouldn't have done it. But then we had Sonic being an engineer and making a device to fling food at Tails. If Sonic's gonna be a gadgeteer, give him a lab coat and have him build stuff all the time. But even then, it should be Tails doing that. I doubt the show's implying that Sonic knows anything about how to engineer and come up with inventions on his own, but he has to know how to build stuff if he did this. Also, I immediately thought that it was creepy that a sausage people village was selling chili dogs. Isn't that kind of cannibalism? Ultimately, I don't think I can classify this as a good episode, if only because of how annoyingly easily Robotnik got the town to side with him over Sonic, even ignoring Tails' horrible voice acting.